I want to state that Night Trap will never appear on a Nintendo system.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
You know, I would give you a crash course, but if you've been on the internet for more than an hour, you'll know that this kind of history is all over the place. If you want to find out for yourself, it's a quick Google search, but for now, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of it. This is sickening. This is too sexy for my virgin eyes, despite the fact that we took this scene out of context. Who made this filth? Don't answer that or I will kick you out of this goddamn court. We need ratings for this filth so we don't poison the minds of our youth. Look, I'm aware it's a bit mean and over-exaggerated, but you know what? They did it first, so I can get away with it, right? Of course, developer Digital Pictures took advantage of this newfound clout by putting it on everything that had a controller at the time. After the Mac OS and MS-DOS Director's Cut in 1995, the game was presumed deceased. Until a board game developer years later ported Disc 1 to a Samsung phone, uploaded the footage anonymously to the internet, then got in contact with one of the guys involved with the original game once it gained traction, and the dude was like, I was hoping to eventually release the game, and he was like, alright, we'll work something out. The guy known as Tyler Hogle founded Screaming Villains and ported the game to every relevant platform. And judging from the footage you saw earlier, I think you know which version I'll be playing. Randomous. I don't know where to put this plot summary, and I'll explain later. The police was alerted to the disappearance of some teens last seen at the Martin Winery estate. The Martin family was questioned and claimed they left safely, while also refusing to let the police search the property, basically telling them to go. The case was then handed over to Special Control Attack Team, or SCAT, who investigated the property, and figured out that the house is not only armed to the teeth with traps, it also has hidden cameras in every room of the house, even the bathroom. Control of the cameras and traps are given to the player along with the safety of 5 teens and undercover agent Kelly, played by the late Dana Plato. The place is also infested with these things called augurs, half vampires on the brink of starvation. And yeah, the Martins turn out to be vampires trying to keep said augurs alive with enough blood to live, but not enough to become full vampires. Tony, one of the family members, would warn them to leave because one of them bears a resemblance to an ex of his and doesn't want her to die. I mean, come on, that's what sexual tension will do to you. That arc goes nowhere because he slipped down the slip and slide of death. Say hi to your ex for me, bitch! Kelly then calls in a SWAT team while the Martins are streaming, and of course, that backfires horrendously. Depending on your actions, the story can play out in different ways, meaning there's multiple endings, but this also means certain events can later bite you in the ass if you screw up, causing one of the bad endings. And you don't want that, especially because you need a perfect game if you want to unlock the game's extras. Think of Five Nights at Freddy's without the jump scares. Remember those augurs I mentioned earlier? You gotta catch them with the traps. Miss too many of them at any point during the story, and it's game over. Don't get too comfortable with the traps, however, because the Martins will switch the code every now and again, represented by a color. Without the right code, the traps are as useless as the magic hands from Sonic Adventure 2. But a certain someone's gonna find use out of those magic hands, so I'm just gonna shut up now. By the way, what you're seeing right now is the entire game. If you get a perfect game, you can actually kill Dana Plato if you want to. I mean, that's one way to go out, aside from the playable prototype, the cut content, the swappable HUDs, theater mode, production photos, documentaries, interviews, quality of life changes, and more. It's still the same game from 30 years ago with a fresh coat of paint. And yeah, this game's gonna turn 30 next year. How's that for some gray hairs? It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's worth playing at least once to say, I played the game that created the rating system that thinks gambling is okay for kids in a basketball game, but not for Mario or Pokemon for some reason. Let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah, right.